Hello, this is Week 2 seminar tutoring and a separate record for the political environment context. The seminar notes about definition of the politics, give example of ways in which political influences affect business, analyze the impact of politics on business using case studies, and I would like to I add some extra slides about this, analyze the impact of political decisions on business. So some kind of learning, it is going to help you to learn when you are analyzing those questions. Obviously, I add up more extra information as well. And this is the fourth point is understand requirement for assessment 1 and for teams for assessment 1 and consider team roles. Team roles, one of the theory exists in the literature. We would like to see, we would really happy to see that theory in your reflection notes. Okay. So some initial points given to us today is key software to use today. Microsoft OneNote and Adobe Acrobat. And these are the key academic skill tools you can use when you are taking notes, when you are reading the documents, and even both of them, you can take notes. Step up one, OneNote is about downloading that application, which is electronic notes you can save. Also, I believe it is recording the in voice, and you can save your lecture voices. I'm not sure how good could be, but that device, this application is doing that job as well. You can download application to your device, also use the browser version. And however, we know everyone learns and works differently. If you prefer to make notes in a different notebook, or using another application, this is fine. I think I know one of the application is Evernote, which is like obviously it is not a free application. You may use that one as well. Okay, and that's this one. We recommend OneNote as a school because this is a free application. It can deal with lots of complex notes throughout your degree, is searchable, and is also has lots of built-in accessibility features. And probably you may find some new things inside as well. And digital reading skills is one of the section maybe you may need to aware and you need to improve that one. Download PDF document of the case study from Ultra and save it in the OneDrive folder. Open the PDF file up in Adobe Acrobat Pro and use the organize page to highlight or to check, to look up, search, or if you want to point or underline any further research, you can highlight that sections. So these are notes. So this is one of the illustration you can do. So I definitely encourage you to active reading strategies, highlighting, commenting, and organizing content for deeper understanding. So this is a demonstration of the kind of like simulative what you can do and which button you need to use. Obviously, you can improve, you can add some extra stuff as well. So this is limited with our understanding. So recap, external factors, again, macro factors, because we are specifying them by using political, governments and politics, economics, economic system and trade, social and cultural, society, and cultural grouping, technological industry, and innovation, technology, industry, and innovation, legal system, legal rule of law, and environmental ecology and climate change, and plus maybe financial environment. Also, I can add up here media, one of the around the spare of the businesses. So we are doing now today political environment, and I would like to start with my own slide, which is I indicated my slides with Hakan. And how this is a question: how can politics affect public? In our original presentation and slides, you can see that how can politics affect business, which we will come that point as well. But I would like to prepare you before going in depth into the business by asking you to public. So you can imagine from your real life experience one of the aspect, then you can bring that aspect to business perspective. How? For example, this is one of the example actually. Public service and public services and infrastructure. So you can think, what is the politics about these? Actually, education, healthcare, transport, housing, all of them is related with politics. And these are the public service and infrastructure. So please note that all these investments are done by politicians, and their decisions are coming to invest some transportation, some they build a bridge or nuclear plants. So all that investment, all that affecting our public life, education, healthcare, when the schools investments are improved, so this is affecting our life and our society. And economic impact. This is really directly you can say how many percent you are paying for tax. Every single paying is a tax payment. Also, when you are working somewhere, governments are charging you some tax payment as well. So I can generalize by saying taxes in economic impact. Also benefits. I think it's really essential for social governments, they need to do this kind of benefits. And employee laws, which is going to protect you when you are protect in humans and society when they are working. Imagine this is security as well as your payment rights. So this is law. It's really important. This is all of them is legislated by politicians, and they are nominating. They're prevailing this environment. Politicians are prevailing them, and inflation and interest rates, I must say. So just in the double quotation, some small in the bracket, I would like to give you information about inflation. Inflation, which we don't want, we don't like, because whatever you have in your pocket today, let's say £100, if 10% is inflation rate every month, it means next month your £100 is going to reduce to £90, which is like stealing that money, someone coming and stealing money from your pocket. Okay, so inflation we don't like. There's some relatively reasonable inflation is acceptable, and there are some argument about this one as well. It shouldn't be any inflation, they say. Okay, there's argument, but some, especially in central banks, Bank of England, They want some inflation, but it is not zero, it is not minus. They want some inflation to improve the economy. This is their mentality at the moment. Maybe in the future it's going to change. Interest rates. Okay, interest rates are, imagine you say you are working for your professional life and you save the money, and what you are going to do with that money, you are going to put into interest and you are expected to get some income. Obviously, we have some alternative investment today, like stock exchange market, maybe cryptocurrencies. Then, yeah, if you have a time, if you have a interest about learning those investment tools, you can use that those tools instead interest, putting your money into interest. So in that sense, I can say inflation versus interest rate are designed by politics. Even though I must say interest rates should be supposed to be coming from head of Bank of England. It should be calculated with carefully, but we can see that many countries don't use that kind of freedom in the Bank of England, Bank of England governor. So they are under pressure of the politicians. So they set interest rate according to the politician requirement. Okay, so this is not wanted. Okay, okay, civil rights and freedoms. So this is freedom of speech and assembly, voting rights, democratic rights, and equality law, anti-discrimination. All of them is inside this one. Imagine if you don't have freedom to movement, if you don't have freedom to speak, how you are gonna argue your product is going to be okay, how you are gonna visit different locations and introduce your product. Okay, so let's say in China, maybe many of you aware about China, but if you want to, if they establish by they many states exist in China. If you have a work permission or if you have a license to run your business one state, then you need to, if you want to open similar business in another state, you need to go and get permission. Even though this is a one country, this is obliged to get a permission for every step. So there is some kind of freedom and liberality is not working there. Okay, I must say. And okay, let's go to law and order, policing, for example, justice, laws passed by governments and shape criminal justice system. And imagine this is our society and it's affecting our life. And new recent trends are existing for about surveillance and privacy, some conflict because criminals are working really rigorous crimes, and instead of giving freedom, so governments try to make a surveillance, and they are trying to interrupt the privacy. And this is a political decision and affects how much privacy of the citizens have in the society. We know some of the states in China, they are using bonus system. If you are really good citizen, you are getting good bonuses. So it is a bit away from us, from our society, but it seems it is coming. Okay, environmental and global issues. This is the one of the top question, and we can be involved on climate and climate policies, and some Paris Agreement and governments obliged to follow that rules in Paris Climate Summit. What they ask, we know well known about Trump just dismissed that rule and pull out from that one. And so, in that sense, climate change is real, and governments wants to take action to reduce the impact of that one or eliminate, make it zero. And if they don't, what we are gonna face, we are gonna see public health issues, and we are gonna see losing arable areas because sea level is gonna increase. So all of them is about our society, affecting our society, that political decisions, ignoring that climate change is going to impact our life. However, we can see some populism and our society is still voting this populist approach and politicians who are facing populism. Yeah, it is. This is not my task, but this is real and global issue needs to be followed, and whatever they take action, it is going to affect our business, okay, or our society, sorry. So cultural and social influence is national identity. Political narratives shape how people see themselves on others and others. So this is national identity and culture. You are belong to the one culture, and you can see media regulations. Governance influence what information is accessible or censored. We know we are in heavy burden, heavy restrictions on that one nowadays. But all of them is affecting our society. And I would like to bring that question to how can politics affect the businesses? Can you give examples? So this is time for you to warm up the discussion, capture the idea. Maybe you can use a flip chart or share document. You can stop and you can share with me later on or in the classroom if you do. And in the classroom, I will ask you to discuss on your table, make notes and flip chart papers, okay? So this is time to stop this video and checking this is relevant, and I want you to discuss how it can affect. Okay, I'll go back to the next slide before previous slide is economic impact, maybe freedom, maybe global issues, maybe you can say public service and investments. All of them is relevant. And I want to hear this kind of thing, okay? So this is the starter question, okay, to warm up you into the business perspective. I'm not going to give you extensive explanation as I did in the society impact of the politics, but I'm expecting you to discuss that one. Okay, stop here and go for thinking and discussion. Okay. Okay, I presume you stopped and you did that task, and now, next slide is about how can politics affect business. Okay, businesses are sole trader, partnership, limited partnerships, corporations, non-profit organization, and co-ops, and like many different organizations exist. And as you can see, a real-world example and financial support influence business decision. Okay, one of the important one is about, I think my slides are not working that way. Later, okay. I think I messed up this slide. Tax credit and financial support. So I expect you to bring kind of tax credit and financial support governments are doing. UK government, for example, often uses tax credits to support businesses, especially in services like hospitality and technology sector. These supports help companies invest in innovation, train their employees, maybe grow economically or revenue-wise without needing direct grants or loan. Because if they go to bank and ask the loan to invest innovation or training, it could be really adverse effect because it is really high high rate of interest rate they could face. Okay. So in that sense, financial wise, politicians can create tax credits for businesses. I think this is relevant for our topic. And how? This is another question: is how to know if your business is eligible to have a tax credit. So because we have really advanced e-government sites, Go UK. And I can say HMRC official guidance would provide detailed information on what businesses can claim. So you can search, you can check. If you don't check, you are not going to aware that the tax credit or that help from government is available for you. Okay, you need to check. Research and development tax relief, maybe business rates tax relief, maybe capital allowances. And I would like to mention about capital allowances because it must be a new term for you. And also you can see the sector specific schemes exist, and it is set by government and politicians. Okay, what does it mean, tax capital allowance? If this system is allowing organization to claim tax relief from their investments, it is especially relevant on fixed assets. What is fixed assets? Equipment you directly use to produce your product, machinery. Maybe if you are in service or hospitality industry, building renovations. However, it is not included. Tax relief is not including buying land or buying residential status building, and you need to check before asking the tax relief for sure. So this is another question coming up. How can politics affect business? Another dimension. I can say, oops, this is again one way now. Energy and sustainability rules. Because we know manufacturers face high energy costs due to the policies aimed to reduce carbon emission. Because these are trying to deter manufacturing using carbon footprint effect. So they have been asked to invest like green energy, and therefore it is happening. And I'm not sure if that one is working fine, but this is not our subject at the moment. But it is affecting. It's going to affect the cost of manufacturers, and this affect industries like steel and chemical industries, because they are highly likely using more energy than other sectors, and they use a lot of energy. So some companies are investing in greener technologies. We know, like wind turbines and solar panels, but it requires more educated human workforce. This is coming to another point, because manufacturers are struggling to get skilled workforce. Okay, you enforce them you penalize their carbon footprint, energy usage, but if you don't give them human force, how to establish the solar panels or wind turbines, it is going to be trouble for them. So therefore, it is again for education and training, then governments are mostly involving that section, okay, because businesses are not meant to create something out of their scope. Okay, if let's say if they are manufacturing paint, let's say they are not related with solar panels. Okay, so yeah, this is the point. So energy and sustainability rules would impact them. Politicians' rules, energy and sustainability rules might affect the businesses. And next one, another one is coming. Skill. Oh yeah, this is similar to in line with the previous one. Skill and workforce development. Policies also focusing on training workers and to meet modern business needs. So this is one of the subject in the human resource management. So what kind of skills, what kind of abilities society will gain in 10 years? It was a plan for government, and this is the plan, okay? But in the recent trends, everything is going really fast, and it is impossible to estimate what kind of skills or abilities are going to be needed next year or in 5 years. Therefore, they change the style. Okay, this is another subject, but they are involving with industry now, kind of mix and industry, mix of government. They are trying to establish a skillful human workforce in the society for the needs of the business needs, okay, to cover the business needs. This helps both service and manufacturing companies find skilled staff and stay competitive in the market. As you can imagine, market is not only United Kingdom, it is global. Therefore, therefore it's important. So skill and workforce development could be supported by government. Okay, this is another one. Okay, this is one of the question is I just want you to read and find the correct answer. I just want to stop this video and read and find the correct answer. Okay. I think you stop and you find the correct answer is B. It helps the government introduce new policies and fund training programs in digital and green technologies. How might it policy benefits businesses in the service and manufacturing sector is help improve staff skills, stay competitive, and adapt to modern technologies. Okay. So this is another question. I want you to stop the video and try to answer this question. It's kind of like calculation needed. There's a need for calculation and math skills here. It's not like advanced math skills. Any manufacturing company wants to train 50 employees in green technologies. The training cost is £1,200 per employee. The United Kingdom government offers to cover 60% of the cost, but the company must apply through the local agency, submit a training plan and report outcomes. So replying the following things, and you will see the reply in the comment section. So just I would like to touch here. I presume you finish, you answer the question. So I would like to extend the answer to C. Suggest how the company can measure long-term impact of the training on productivity, employees' retention. Maybe I should say it is not like measure the impact, let's say, not long-term, because it seems irrelevant according to my question. How the company can measure the impact of training. So there is a kind of like I think I made some kind of fun here for the students who would like to do some statistical analysis. So kind of one term is training. Okay, before training, you can check productivity. I'm gonna underline that one. Okay, that one, productivity. I'm gonna make it red. Okay, employees retention. That one red as well. Then innovation and cost saving. One of the things you can say in management, if you don't measure anything, you can't manage that things. You need to measure, you need to calculate what is that productivity, what is that retention. You need to have kind of calculation to have that if you are running a business. Retention, let's say maybe how many people is working and how many people are going and resigning, could be one of the ratio between them, could be employee retention rate. Okay, so I don't have any intention to teach you about this, but if you have a measurement, if you measure something before the training and after the training, then you can compare them in statistic. Therefore, it's come to point to next slide. So this slide is productivity before last 6 months. What is the productivity in the organization? As you can see, first two column. Maybe I should make some kind of line here, or maybe I can correct from other end. I think maybe I can do for all of them. You see? So, oh, look, look, look. It doesn't work. So anyway, okay, at least we have a lines now between them. Productivity. Before the training, you check the productivity. And after the training, you check the productivity. Afters are about training, after training. And before are about before the training. Okay, so kind of like you can see productivity 72, after productivity 76, 69, 75. As you can see, there is a positive improvement. However, if you have this kind of the data, there is a need for calculation advanced statistics. Okay, these, even though the one is showing increase for each line, you can find sometimes it's not meaningful difference. Okay, maybe sometimes it's not like it's not worth it to train. Okay, so if you are checking investing every employee 1,200 pounds for the training, and you are checking their productivity level, whether it's training help or not. So on the second, last third and fourth line, okay, as you can see, another retention before and retention after. So retention are reduced on the 6 months, and the other one is increase. Okay, this is kind of mix. Okay, as you can see, it is mix. I really wonder what will happen, what will the results about this data analysis. So if you are measuring same things before intervention of one in training, okay, then checking after the intervention what kind of improvement, what kind of new measures are happening. You need to do paired sample t-test. This is the statistics. Okay, you can see more detail, and because I'm not statistician, I don't have intention to teach any statistician, but I can understand. I know what is that one. Okay, paired sample t-test is the way you can check same thing before intervention and after intervention. Okay, so please use that link to learn about statistics more for the students who are more fun about statistics. Okay, so this is the analysis made through the JASP. Okay. I should write that one. Yes, somehow I didn't. Maybe I can do it here. Just write here. Sorry. Just This is the name of the program. It is free application. It is not only for our school, for everyone, it is free. Academicians are made in this program. And this is like competing with SPSS. And you can, I think it would be really nice to have improving your knowledge on this the statistic program. Maybe you may need to that one you may need to run this kind of analysis in your professional life, or maybe in your project or in your study, any point. Okay. So the result is okay. I think I need to put that one back. It's coming on back. It's gonna go back. Okay. So this is the analysis outcome is on the right. Can you see the p-values? If the p-values are less than 0.05, it means there is an impact. There is a meaningful difference before the training, and the difference between two data about productivity. It is not, I'm afraid it is not meaningful, even though we know those elements are all of them increase, productivity increase, but it is not meaningful a difference, okay? So retention rates are not meaningful difference, okay? As you can see, innovation, yes, innovation rates are measured. So one of the point, again, I would like to remind you, how you are going to measure retention, how you are going to measure cost savings, how you are going to measure productivity, it is up to you. And you have that all accounting department in your hand as a manager, and you need to set that kind of measurement, how you are going to measure. So at least I can say you should be aware about your cost saving, okay? Savings or cost. So in that sense, you should be able to check in your own business or where you are working, you should be seeing that retention or innovation or productivity. But I'm not teaching you those, how you are going to measure or how you are going to also, I'm not teaching you how to make this statistical analysis, but this is the pair sample t-test I can tell you only before and after intervention, what is happening. And p-values are, if they are less than 0.05, it means it's a meaningful difference. Okay, your training in that sense for our hypothetical organization didn't make a meaningful difference on productivity and retention. However, we can see that innovation and cost savings are meaningful difference. Okay, so it is okay. It's improved. I think next question is going to be so next point is going to be okay, about political stability. About political stability. Political stability. Political change. We know that the coalition governments exist before, and last 15 years we've seen that conservatives are more mainly is prevailing our government, and political change mostly negative impact on the business confidence, because new leaders bring new policies. As you can see, as you may remember, the recent Labour governments introduced new plans, and it is affect business, and I believe it is affect the business confidence negatively. And this is my own belief, but you don't need to be in favor of anything. Business watches, you need to aware that businesses watch closely to see how changes in trade, tax, regulation will impact their operation. So in that sense, it is important political stability. So maybe I can make kind of like small calculation for you. Total impact cost of the political change could be tax cost, trade cost, and regulation costs. Okay, this is political stability. So small question for you now on the next slide is about one of the thing, and I want you to stop here. There's a formulation down here: total impact cost equals to tax cost plus trade cost and regulation cost. And UK-based manufacturing company is reviewing how upcoming government changes will affect operations. These changes include an increase in corporate tax, 19% to 25%. I don't want to read all questions, just you can stop and you can answer that question, okay? So I presume you did that one, and the answers are here. Tax cost is about the percentage change, £30,000 increase on the tax code because it was 19%, now 25%. And I think maybe I should correct that calculation because it is not meaningful. Now it's going to be more meaningful now because it's impossible to come to that point. Now it's going to work. Yeah. 25% is minus 19% corporate tax and trade cost is £50,000 and £43,000 for the upgrades for the environmental requirement. So all of these calculations, total cost is going to be some of them, £123,000. So in that sense, this cost wasn't exist before. Now it is on burden on the organization in our hypothetical organization manufacturing company. So as you can see, political stability, and it means organizations are expecting nothing change, and they are gonna estimate everything stable and nothing is changed. So it is good for them. However, yeah, it is not in the real life. Everything is changing, isn't it? So, so one of the definitions of the political influences are word cloud made using Copilot, but there are so many other terms that could be included here. In your OneNote file, write down as many words you can that you associated with terms, politics. This is kind of exercise, and we would like to see this kind of terms in your presentation, in your writing when you are doing political influence. So I'm going to give you more in advanced points as well. But as you can see at the bottom, liberalism, totalitarianism, decentralization. So these are one of the challenge at the moment. Democracy, ideology, immigration, and authoritarianism. It is coming from the United States, more likely happening. So all of them is, yeah, all of them is good points, good sentences. So why there isn't a democracy here? Freedom of speech. Why it is not there? I don't know. Maybe you didn't remember, or someone didn't remember, or maybe who generated this, they didn't. Okay. So I think I'm gonna ask you to stop this video and find the missing terms and maybe discuss why some concepts, for example, democracy, are central. Why it is, why it is not missed. It's not question, but why that missing word is central for political environment. You can discuss. I think you understand, like political stability, tax credits. You understand over that discussion how it is impacting governments, impacting our businesses. Okay. Okay. Definition of the politics. We have these three definitions. I want you to read and compare that definitions. And just in the classroom, I'm going to ask you which one is more your favorite one and why is it one of that one is more resonate with you. So this is my question is going to be, but yeah, please stop here and read that text, that definitions. So key terms, another key terms are power. I think I'm in the classroom. I'm going to divide the terms. I'm going to assign the terms into different groups on table, and encourage you to link terms to business examples. Maybe I can say power. Who holds the decision making? Who is the authority? Government, corporations, maybe trade bodies. Who are they? Who has got the authority? So this is the question. Power. How is the power exercised? How it is seen in the public or in the business? So this is the maybe question. Pluralism is about multiply interest groups, influencing the policy and market access. And identity politics, how do cultural, national, or regional identities shape consumer behavior or regulatory attitudes? So you can say, for example, X culture is more dominating are these definitions, and more likely if they come to point, you can estimate their likely behave, okay? If you look in that way, if you identify the politics, cultural, regional identities, okay? Then state, what roles does the state plays? Like regulatory, because sometimes they want to only regulate. They don't want to involve with business, so they just want to give freedom, liberalism. Maybe sometimes they protect. Okay, how does it involves? How does governments or politics involvement vary across the countries? Maybe you can see from different countries, and you can make states' role, what they regulate, what they do, facilitate or protect. Sovereignty. Sometimes there's a tension. There are tension between national sovereignties, and also this is affecting global trade agreement as well. So we have seen that the fishing sector, France and UK, we really struggle to settle, and Ireland as well. Fishing rules, who's going to do fishing and which area they are going to do fishing. So post-Brexit, we've seen that kind of national sovereignty issues and tensions. And ideology, what are political ideologies influence business regulations? Maybe neoliberalism, maybe protectionism, maybe sustainability, maybe populism. And so sometimes, the governments are really important, how they approach to conflicts and how they navigate. Maybe sometimes, they say win-win approach. Maybe sometimes they are really stubborn. They don't change their mind. So all of them impacting our labor, like trade agreements, labor laws, employee laws. So all of them are like this is the part of the business affecting the business, how they these are associated with politics, and it's affecting business as well. So the political sphere is clarify the difference between public and private sectors, and discuss civil society role in shaping the policy. It is one of the discussion, because we expect civil society is involving the shaping the policy as well. And in that sense, you need to be aware the difference between public sphere, because government, state institutions, these are sets the rules, like regulation, as already mentioned, taxes, maybe credits subsidize, maybe kind of trade agreement, trade policies. Then private sector and civil society, I can say, operates within those rules, what is given by public sphere. But also they are private sphere affecting influences public sphere as well. Private sphere affecting the public sphere, okay, through lobbying and activism and market behavior. So this is important, okay? You need to understand this is like not one-way road. Always it's kind of like cycles, like a cycle. It is affecting back and forward, okay? Yeah, please don't confuse about public sector and private sector businesses. Many of you might confuse public sectors like NHS, council with public limited companies. This slide is a bit like try to clear out that one and clear that up. It also sets the stage for discussion on privatization, maybe. You can think, because the governments try to reduce their impact on the economy because they, in the name of giving the liberalism to economies. Yeah, this is the section. And political impact on businesses. As you can see, financial regulations, worker protection, employee laws, research and innovation, how they invest, how they support, okay, outsourcing public services, healthcare, because government cannot do education or schools. They need private investment, and it is outsourcing, okay. And consumer protection is another one. Consumer protection is impacting everything because whatever the manufacturers produce, they need to protect consumers first, and also environments, and in the organization, corporate governance, what is the duties of directors? Some mischievous directors we've seen before, and they created some big economic crisis. So some regulations and some political policies are affecting them as well. How the corporate is going to govern. So this is the example. Also, competition policies and monopolies, antitrust regulation. I think I didn't touch that one. But I'm not gonna touch because I feel a bit tired and dizzy. So this is another one, another slide for you to click that link now and find a recent news and section in the politics and society section. So I think you need to do a little bit like strategic way on this one. Why I'm saying because this is your. Let me bring that on next slide. In your assignment, first assignment, you want to choose one of the case study, one of the organization, and this is the one. This is the slide is coming to come down. Okay, next slide. Organizations. One of them you need to choose. First organization is about Germany and UK. Okay. Next one is Taiwan and London, UK. Another one, UK and India, and Spain and UK. So in that sense, so in the previous slide, I wanted to focus on Germany, Taiwan, India, Spain, maybe South Africa and UK. If you want to do on UK, it's okay. I want you to check some news and find a new section of political and society section. Here on the right is in the circle, maybe you can see. You definitely must see. Read the story and make notes on OneNote. And maybe save the URL code for that story. And you can also screenshot, maybe remembering that story, but summarize the key point in your own words is important because otherwise it's going to create a plagiarism, which you may not wish to see in your assignment. Okay, high similarity rate. Okay, next slide. How? So I want to stop that one, and I want you to stop here, and I want you to make it that research and questions to consider when you are doing that search. Who are the main stakeholders involved? Okay, how might the different stakeholders be affected? How might businesses be affected? Are there any specific businesses or industries that are most likely to be affected and why? How might public opinion influence business decision in this context? And what might the effect be in short term and also in longer term? So in that sense, some kind of political change, political new decision, how it is going to affect business stakeholders, who are going to be main stakeholders involved, who was the power, and who are the different stakeholders affected that change. In that sense, maybe you need to find one of the improvements, and that improvement are decided by who. Then that improvement affected by different stakeholders, maybe. Okay, and how might business be affected? Highly likely. Okay. And are there any specific business or industries that are most likely to be affected? Maybe you can say, okay, this is not affected IT industry, this is going to affect more hospitality. Okay, so more specific. Okay, this is kind of narrowing down. How might public opinion influence? Is there any public opinion on and influence business decision in this context? What might be the effect in the short term, maybe long term? Effect, maybe you can divide that effects. Okay. Now, after finding that one, reading that one, share your news story with your neighbor, with your people next to you, and summarize your story. Did you choose the same story or different one? What similarities were there in your stories and answers? How were they different? So these are the questions I will come and ask you in the classroom. Okay. So I'm going to stop. I want to stop here and I want you to read that link. That link is here, theconversation.com UK, and find that these countries, okay, Germany, Taiwan, UK, India, Spain. I don't know. I don't mind South Africa. One of them, one of the improvement. I want to see you are aware and you are practicing what you learned in this seminar. Okay, that's why I am here. Okay. Okay. I presume you stopped the video, you did that research, and you come to another case study, another exercise today, case studies. I would like to bring some kind of attitude here is after reading, you will see 3-4 questions to answer, and those case studies are given to you in the Ultra. And I would like to hear, are you opinionated or neutral perspective? So kind of like if you are running a business, it is impossible to do in neutral perspective. But I want you to distinct those different things. Okay. So I would like to hear I am in favor of this first, then blah blah blah. Why? Okay, because this. However, this plus additionally that. Okay, so this kind of discussion I would like to hear. So I also made some case studies from Turkey and UK about those case problems. First one is lobbying. So I would like you to, I want to invite you to read this case study. First question is it ever right to offer or accept a bribe? So I know you didn't read that one. After that one, I want you to comment about your opinion and neutral perspective. So you will have 3 case studies. Lobbying is the first one today, and you will have 4 questions for that one, I think 4 or 3. And yeah, I'm expecting you stop now and you will read and start to answer your opinion and neutral perspectives. I presume you did stop and you read the case study. First question is about is it ever right to offer or accept a bribe? Okay. Second question, at what point do gifts become unacceptable as form of lobbying? Third one is, when is it acceptable to offer work to people you know, and then should it go to public tender? So okay, so I gave this one as opinionated and neutral perspective. Which one you are in favor? I don't know. You are gonna choose, but I just made kind of like because we value at university, you are approaching and you are adhering different perspective, and you are bringing counter argument, and you know about your decision and about what you are in favor of, rather than some round words and finishing your word limitation. Yeah, you have 3,000 or 1,500 word limitation. So we don't want this kind of like round words. We would like the more clear definition and saying what is it, what. Okay, so this is really clear. First one, opinionated one. Bribery undermines public trust. So this is definitely in favor of against the bribe. Okay, this is opinionated. Public trust and distorts fair resource allocation. And it should never be justified in the long run. It corrodes institutions and damages economic integrity. This is opinionated. So you may be opinionated in favor of bribe, but I didn't choose that one because I didn't find a reasonable. But you may find it. Okay, yeah, why not? Okay. So neutral perspective is bribery is illegal in most legal system and ethically unacceptable. Okay, so kind of like assigning that unacceptable. However, in some countries, it has become embedded in business culture, and this reflects structural corruption and cultural relativism. I think this neutral perspective is giving us the harsh truth of our politics. So therefore, I'm in favor of this one. So this is our part of briberies, are part of our life, and structural corruption is coming from our cultural approach, actually. So I made some kind of example, bribery example in the comment section. So I don't want to go through the second questions. Second question. I don't want to see, I don't want to read or comment about third one. Okay, I made this one. This is the lobbying case study. Then next case study, low-cost airlines. I made in this table for you for the questions. Opinionated and neutral perspective. I hope I made correctly. And so you can read, you can show, but before reading, I want you to stop here and read the case study about low-cost airlines, and then you can bring your perspectives. Okay. Also, there's a Ukraine case study about Ukraine war. And I want you to read that one and answer the questions. I didn't include it on the slides. Okay. So this is the time of break, but or it's recording, so I don't need to. Assessment 1 is about group presentation. Quickly, I need to say. Then you need to understand what is group, what is team. First of all, form teams. Okay. In the presentation, you will have 4 to 6 students per team. We prefer to see gender diversity, programs, pathways, diversity. However, it is not obligatory. And team formation is the first step of creating a team. Forming. Teams are formed at first stage. This theory is team formation, Tuckman's theory. Then next stage is storming, then norming, performing, and adjourning. These all stages are coming from the theory, and it is showing, and we would like to hear this kind of approach, this kind of team, how it is evolve your team. We would like to hear kind of like your understanding about your team development. For example, forming. This stage is could be described as a cautious stage where members explore the boundaries of acceptable group behavior and mix with excitement and pride at being selected for the team. There is often some repetition and anxiety about the success of the project at this stage. So that stage is followed by storming, and storming combines some resistance to task with fluctuation in attitude about the team's chances of success. And members may show impatience, maybe sometimes jealousy, because if you are really good at for example, politics, then if someone else take over politics, then you can start to build a jealous behavior. Okay, so this is kind of like the part of the theory. Maybe perhaps overt recognition of pecking orders within the team. So this is another way. So you need to aware what stage is what. Okay, I would like to invite you to search about each stage, and I would like to hear in your reflection report on this stages as well. Okay. So this is the next slide. Similar way, management rely on teams which are constantly being formed and reformed to adapt the changing business condition. Therefore, teams must be up to speed. Okay. I think this is a inspirational way. So this is the another point. Okay, you can read and you can check. I have no point to read all of that. And introduction to assessment, 60% of the total mark is going to come on the group presentation. We would like to see organization, local community, country, region, and world, some reflections. If you find it is irrelevant, you can jump some of them, but we would like to see those things. Okay, so I must say, if you get a critic on your presentation and because you didn't show, please don't blame me because I already warned you. Okay, and assessment one is pastel group assessment, and please find the assessment brief on Ultra and save it into the OneDrive account. And group project outline is as a team of new graduate recruits. You have been asked to gather information on the key external environment influences recently impacted organizations operations. So you need to find something change, something external, key external influences your change, okay, operations. I think this is written very clearly. Anticipate future external environment influences on your organization. Because we've seen that, in many case studies, and it is really descriptive if you do, oh, this is change and our operation is going to impact it with this way. So this is, okay, this is what we want as information, but we would like to see some future anticipation. What could be future anticipation? In some change in society, some change in politics, some change in technology. So if you are taking in politics, then you need to be aware that anticipate that future external environment as a politics. If you are taking technology, you need to be aware about technological future anticipation. So That's it. Okay, this is the I can give you only these. Okay, so undertake a full environmental analysis should be presented in your presentation. You might also include competition, PESTEL, to better factor the internal business environment. Okay. And each member of the submit a final individual reflection report summarizing each team member's involvement, relating it to group team theories, and discussing seminars. If you have any question, please raise in the classroom. Also, you can set the question in the thread of this video. Maybe I can reply that one as well. And group presentation, group project submission is week 8 seminar. You will conduct 20 minutes presentation on findings on environmental analysis. All team members will need to submit a copy of presentation slide, including individual summary at the end of the week, Friday, 14 November. Please make sure you have name on the first presentation slide. Also, I want to add here is, please, if you are doing political environment, make your name, stick your name on that slides as well, okay? So equally distributed, 20 minutes is important. Don't read. You can read notes, but not completely read, okay? Like reading some reminder as a reminder, okay? So you're not going to fail because you are reading from notes, but you are going to get, you're not going to get first, okay? All presentation will be in person within seminar time, unless you have extenuating circumstances, and in which case you should inform your seminar tutor about these particular circumstances. It is not like last minute. And I want my students, even though they are scaring, they are not confident, I want all of them in the group and present there in the video record. I want to see all my students in the group members. So the last bit is individual summary. Individual summary is, you can read. I don't want to read that section, but yeah, you should all work on each part of PESTEL. Microsoft team collaboration digitally. I think I mentioned that one in the first week. You can collaborate digitally through the team. I think it's better to use that one. And maybe you can add me as an observer, and you will need to work on your project outside of the seminar time. It is likely that team members will have to other academic and social commitment. Therefore, it is essential to you plan your meeting in advance and book the room to rehearse your presentation. Is important. Time management is critical for the business students and business for the real business life. So it's important as as important as business. It's important for the study for the university students study skills. So I think rest of them you can read, and these are the organizations. It is not finishing. And yeah, this is my own slide again. What you need to do, add, this is for students who will do the political environment. So it's not included feature participation, but like you can, if there is a trade agreement between UK and sourcing country like Germany, Spain, South Africa, India, and Taiwan. Okay, these are the case studies. Or are there import duties, tariffs, codes? So we would like to hear you are aware about political agreements and what's happening. Okay, like let's say post-Brexit regulation, custom checks happen, documentation requirement, border delays. So all these points you will find in the video. You can stop here and you can read. I didn't complete all of them, but I would like to see this kind of political perspective and dimensions. And it's over to you. And actually, it's not over to you. Decide on your team expectations and try to make your team working. And yeah, you need to find you need to divide the task into the small pieces. and you need to create some coherent presentation, what you need to do. If you want to learn, you need to involve with other dimension owners, and you can speak with them, and you can listen them, and you can discuss, maybe you can contribute them, and it's going to affect your reflective reports as well. And you need to think about how often you are going to meet, when to meet, where to meet, organize meetings. And any question about the assessment, please find the assessment Q&A feature in Ultra. Please add any question there. You can choose to do these anonymously, because we want you to put there, because other students might have a similar question, but maybe hesitate to ask that question, can learn by reading from there, or maybe they are not going to ask because they have similar question, and they are going to learn from there. So this is the independent learning task slides. I think it's done now. Yeah, I think my presentation is done. Thank you very much for listening, and I think I'm going to stop this record, and hopefully I'll see you on the seminar hour tomorrow or the day after. Thank you very much. And okay, so where we are going to stop, how we are going to stop in that records. Okay, let's see. Okay, records, stop recording here. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care.